Hello guys, welcome to another video. This one is paper 2-2 of May-June 2012. So let's move on to question number 1. So here we have to answer all the questions in section A. Here we have a graph, a grid. We have 1, 2, 3 lines, and we have this region R that is shaded in the question. Now part 1, write down the name of the shaded polygon. So the first thing we need to check is how many sides does R have. So we count, it has 1 side, 2 side, 3, 4, and 5. So since it has 5 sides, it is called a pentagon. That is part 1. Now moving on to part 2, it says 3 of these inequalities that define the region R is this one, this, and this. So let's find out what is this line. X is more than 0. It will be x is more than 0 will be this line. More will be on this side. And we have y is more than 0 will be this one above this line. And this one will be y is less than x plus 2. Has to be this line. Sorry, this line. It is a positive gradient, so the line is in this direction. So this one will be below this line. Now, question is write down the other 2 inequalities that define the region. So we have this line, as you can see, to the left of this line. So that will be, so this one is pretty easy. We just have to write x is less than or equal to 5. And then what else? We have this line below this line, right? So how do you find equation of a line? You can definitely find 2 points. So let's just take 2 points. Here we have 1 point, and here we have the other point. So we have 2 points. The first point is 6, 0, and we have 0, 6. M will be the gradient, will be 6 minus 0, and 0 minus 6, that will be minus 1. Now equation of line will be y minus 0 over x minus 6 is equal to minus 1 over 1. Now you cross multiply, you will have y is equal to 6 minus x. So that will be the equation of this line. Now as you can see, R is below this line, so in that case you'll have to write y is less or equal to 6 minus x. That will be question part B. Now for part C, on the diagram draw the line that is parallel to this and passes through the point 5, 0. So when the line is parallel to the other line, it means they have the same gradient. So as you can see, here the gradient is equal to 1, so m is equal to 1. So since you have a point here 5, 0, go back to your graph. Where is 5, 0? It is right here. So let's mark this point. And now since the gradient is 1, it means that for every height, for every basically for every base, it has 1 height. So one unit and 1 unit, it will go up till here. So that will be the other point. So same way, we can just connect these two to it's not very great, so it has to be exactly in between those points. That will be your line that is parallel to this line and with this gradient. So otherwise, if you don't know how to do this, you can always first find the equation of the line and then find 2 points and join the 2 points to find the line, as you can see. Now for part D, find the gradient of the line that is perpendicular to this one. So pretty easy. Since the gradient here is m equal to 1, now the gradient of the perpendicular line will be negative 1. So that should be minus 1. Okay, so that will be your question number 1. And we will move on to question number 2. To solve the equation, we have to find the value of x. So here we have 2 fractions, and here we have an integer. So let's look at the left hand side first. We have to simplify this one. So we can make a common base of 4. This will make the same 7x plus 1 minus, so how can you make 2 become 4? You have to times 2 times 2. That will be 2x equal to 1. Then we can cross multiply. You will have 7x minus 2, that will be 5x plus 1 equal to 4. So 5x equal to 3. So x will equal to 3 divided by 5. That will be part 1. Now part B, solve this equation. So you have to make y the subject of formula. You will have 81. Y is equal to plus minus root of 81, which is plus minus of 9. That will be minus 9 or plus 9. Now for part C, the length of the base of this parallelogram is 6 centimeter more than the height. So it means that the base is 6 plus h, right? Now the area of this is 33.5. Show that h satisfies this equation. So how do you find area of a parallelogram? Pretty easy. It's the length of the base times the height. So 6 plus h times height is supposed to give you the area. Now we can just simplify. You will have 6h plus h square is equal to 33.25. Now let's bring everything to one side. You will have h square plus 6h minus 33.25 equal to 0. Now you observe this is 4 here, and here we have 1. So how can you make 1 become 4? You have to multiply by 4. So we have to multiply by 4 everywhere. So here you will have 4h square plus 24h minus. So now what is 33.25 times 4? That should be 133 equal to 0. And this is shown as required. Now for part 2, solve this equation. So sometimes it is hard to know what are the factors of 133. In those cases, if you don't know the factors, just find by using the formula. So h is equal to minus 24 plus minus root of 24 square minus 4 times a times c. Divide by 2a, that will be 8. So what is this inside? That will be 24 square minus 4 times minus 133. That will be 2704, square root of that will be 52. So h will be minus 24 plus minus 52 divided by 8. So let's find the possible solutions for h. So h can be, first one, let's do minus 24 minus 52 divided by 8. That should be minus 9.5, or it can be, h can be plus 52 divided by 8. That will be 3.5. So minus 9.5 or 3.5. Now for part 3, find the length of the base of this parallelogram. The length of base is 6 plus h, and if you would choose this one, it will be, so let's say if I choose this one, I will say 6 plus minus 9.5, it will be a negative value, so you would not be good. We have to choose this one. 6 plus 3.5, that will be 9.5. So your length of the base will be 9.5, and that is question number 2. Now let's move on to question number 3. Simon walks from his house to Juan's house. He stays there for a short while before they walk together to the cinema. The graph represents the journey from Simon's house to the cinema. So as you can see, Simon's house is here. He left his house. He went to Juan's house. This is Juan's house, JH. And he stayed there for a short while before he goes to the cinema. Now, question part 1, he says, for how many minutes does Simon stay at Juan's house? So as you can see, he arrives at Juan's house at this point, which is this one. And then he leaves the house at this point, which is this point. So we have to find the value for this distance. Now let's calculate. As you can see, for 10 square, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So 10 square is 1 hour. So you can say 10 square is 1 hour is 60 minutes. So 1 square is 6 minutes. Now from this point to this, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 6 squares, that will be 36 minutes. So for how many minutes does Simon stay? For 36 minutes. Now for part B, at what speed does Simon walk to Juan's house? So in this case, as you can see, we have a distance time graph. So speed will be the gradient of the graph. So pretty easy. Gradient will be, we have to find the height of the triangle divided by the base. The height here is what? The height is 2.5, the base is, so this is 4, this is 430, so half an hour, right? So that will be speed is the height, which is 2.5 km, divided by half an hour. That will be 5. So the speed will be 5 km per hour. Now for part C, Simon has a 15% discount voucher for his cinema ticket, but Juan pays the full price. Simon pays $4.42. How much does Juan pay? So pretty easy. So usually the price is X. We don't know this price. It is at full price, which is 100%. Now, after a discount of 15%, Simon pays $4.42. That's the price. And of course, it is after a discount of 15%, which means he pays the price of 100 minus 15. That will be 85%. So 85% represents 442. So we have to find this value of X. So pretty easy. We can just do this by ratio. So if we say 85 is equal to 442, so we have to find 100. So 100 is equal to 442 divided by 85 times 100. That should be 520. So the full price is 520 for the ticket. Now for part D, they stay at the cinema for 2 hours before they each walk home at this speed. Complete the graph to show this information. So the speed is 3. As you know, speed here is the gradient of the graph, but let's first draw this one. They stay at the cinema for 2 hours. So from this point, it was 6 p.m. 2 hours will be 8 p.m. So in that case, that will be a horizontal line because they don't move. And last part will be, it says they walk home at 3 km per hour. Now, this distance is what? This distance is 4 km. And let's see how, so we have to draw a gradient of 3. So as you know, gradient is equal to height by base. So let's see how can we have a free, no, we can just find an equation, or we can just find a few points to draw this. So 3 km per hour. So let's first find a, let's say, what if you were to walk the first 3 km? So as you can see, our speed is 3 km per hour. So in 1 hour, you will walk 3 km, right? That's the speed. So let's see. So from 8 till 9, you're supposed to walk 3 km. So from this distance, from 3 km from 4, that will be going to 1. So this point. So let's plot this. Let's join this as a straight line to form the last part of your graph. As you can see, this is a speed of 3 km per hour, so for the journey of the boys. Now for part E, at what time do they arrive at Juan's house? So let's check the time. Juan's house is on this line, so time will be right here. That will be right here. This is 8:30. So time will be 8:30 p.m. or you can write 20:30 for the time. And that will be question number 3. Let's move on to question number 4. The scale diagram shows the positions of 2 hotels, W and X. As you can see here, we have W and X. These are 2 hotels. Now, this is very important here. The scale is 1 centimeter to 5 km. So this is the scale of this drawing. Question part 1. Find by measurement the bearing of W from X. So we have to find the bearing of W from X. So we have to, let's see what angle we need to find. So W from X will be this angle. So we need to find this big angle. So as you can see, we can first find this one and take 360 minus this to find this. So let's measure this one. So here we have, so if you go to your point X, you will see that this will be, or you can measure this way. This way is easier. So go to your point X on the straight line. That will be from 0 to this point, that is about 80. So this is 80. So this will be 360 minus 80. So let's do that. 360 minus 80, that should be 280. So the bearing of W from X will be 280 degrees. Now for part B, the hotel Y is 40 km from W and 37 km from X. So we have to use a scale of 5 km equal to 1 centimeter. So what is 40 km? So 40 km divided by 5, that is 8 centimeter. And what is 37 divided by 5? That will be 7.4 centimeters from X. So let's find the position of Y. It says Y is down south from the line. So let's do that. So from W, it says it is from the point Y. So the point Y is 40 km from W. So it is 8 centimeters from W. So let's first measure the length of 8 centimeters. So take your compass and your scale. So make sure your pencil is sharp because the drawing needs to be accurate. So go to your point W and draw an arc on this side. Okay, so once you do that, now you go to this point X. As you can see, X, it is 7.4 centimeters from X. So measure scale of 7.4 should be about this point. Make sure you're using a sharp pencil. So that will be X right here, and joining this, you will see we have a point of intersection. So this point of intersection will be your point Y. Now we have to construct the position. Good. Now part C, the bearing of the hotel Z from W is 72 degrees. Z is due north of X. So Z is exactly above X, and the bearing of Z from W is 72. So let's measure the angle from W. From W, the angle is 72. So let's go to the point, and this is 0. 72 will be right here, this point. Now if you would continue this line, and if you would continue this line as well, you will see they will join at a point, right? And this point right here, this point of intersection will be your point Z. So you can show your work as well with your pencil, that is okay. This is your point Z, due north, that is done. By making a accurate drawing, mark the position of Z, done. Find the actual distance in kilometers between Z and X. So what is this distance? Let's measure. So Z to X. So first, according to my drawing, it shows to be about 5 is here. 5.5, 6, 7, 8. 5.8. So my drawing says ZX is equal to 5.8 centimeters. Now using this scale, we have to convert this to km. As we have seen, 1 cm is equal to 5 km. 5.8 is equal to times 5, that will be 29. So my answer will be 29 km for the actual distance between Z and X. So that will be your question number 4. Question number 5, the cumulative frequency graph shows the distribution of length of 60 leaves. So that is good to know. So we have this graph given to us already. Now part 1, complete the table shown to show the distribution of the length of the leaves. Now as you can see, we have groups of each length. Now we have to find the frequency between each groups. This we have 7 and we have 8. So what is the length between 7 and 8? So let's see how many lengths do we have. So 7 will be right here. Let's find the corresponding value. That will be 25. 7 is 24 actually. 7 will be 24. Now 8 will be 8 going all this way up to 49. So 49 and 24, we have to find the distance or difference. That will be 25. So here will be 25. So same steps, 8 to 9, we have to find 9. 9 will be from this point to this. We have the value of 58. So 9 is here. That will be 58. So 8 is 49 and 9 is 58. So we have to find the distance in between. Minus 49, that will be 9. Now, this is your frequency. So if you add everything up, it should give you the value for 60. So let's test. So 6 plus 18 plus 25 plus 9 plus 2 should give you 60. Okay, 60 matches with 60, so it means your answer is good. Now let's move on to part 2. Use a graph to estimate the median. So since we have 60 leaves, we have to do half of 60. That will be 30th value, 30th element. So pretty easy. You go to your graph, you see 30. You have to draw a line at this 30 mark. And then you go directly downwards to the corresponding value. So here we have the median value, which is 7.2. So 7.2 will be your answer for the median length. Now for part 3, use a graph to calculate, to estimate the interquartile range. It is upper quartile minus lower quartile. So what is the value for upper quartile? As you guys know, quartile is 3/4. Upper quartile is 3/4 of the 60 leaves. That will give you 45, but let's check. That is 45. So 45th element. And the lower quartile is 1/4 of 60. That will be 15th element. So let's find the corresponding value for each. So 45 will be on this line. As you can see, will be right here. And then the corresponding value for length will be right below. It should be 7.8. That is your upper quartile, which is 7.8. Now the lower quartile is 15. So go to your point 15 and touch this point and find the corresponding value. It should give you 6.6. So I have 6.6. Now to find the range, you have to do 7.8 minus 6.6. That will be 1.2. That is the interquartile range. Now for part 4, it says one of the leaves is chosen at random. You choose one of the leaves. Estimate the probability that it has a length of more than 7.5. So let's see how many leaves have a length of more than 7.5. So you can just go to your graph and estimate that length. So you go to 7.5. You find, let me use a different color here. You find the corresponding value based on your graph. So we'll see. And this will be on this side. The reading gives you, this is 35, 36, 7, 38. This is 38. So we have to find more than this. So more will be the above than this. So we have to find this distance. So this will be 60 minus 38 is how much? 60 minus 38 will be 22. So it means 22 leaves have length more than 7.5. This is what it means. So in that case, what is the chance? It will be 22 divided by 60. So 22 divided by 60, that will be 11 over 30. So 11 over 30 will be your answer for part 4. Now let's move on to part B. It says the distribution of the width of these leaves is shown in this table below. Part 1, calculate and estimate for the mean. So to find mean, we have to find sum of fx divided by number of leaf, which was 60. Now f has been given to you as frequency. What is x? X is the midpoint of each group. So how do you find the midpoint? You have to add 3, add 4, divide by 2. That should give you 3.5. So same thing for the rest. That should give you the midpoints. 4.5, 5.5, 6.5, 7.5, and 8.5. Now, sum of fx, we have to find fx. So we have f, we have x here. Fx is just f times x. So 4 times 3.5, that is 14. 15 times 4.5, that is 67.5. 5.5 times 20, that will be 110. 13 times 6.5, that will be 845. 5 times 7.5, that should be 37.5. 8.5 times 3, that will be 25.5. Now you have to find the sum, you have to add everything together. So 14 plus 67.5 plus 110 plus 8 point, I think it was 84.5, right? Let's check. 6.5 times 13, yep, plus 37.5 plus 25.5. That should give you 339 divided by 60. That is 5.65, correct to 3SF. So your mean estimate will be 5.65 centimeters. Now let's move on to part 2. Calculate the percentage of leaves with a width of more than 6. So let's first find out how many leaves are more than 6. So this is 6 and below will be this much, so more will be on this side. So 13 plus 5 and plus 3, that will be what? So 13 plus 5 plus 3, that is 21. So 21 leaves over 60. Percentage, that will be times 100. Let's see what we get. That will be 35%. Okay, so part 2 is 35%, has more than 6 centimeters. And this is your question number 5. Question number 6, part A. So we have the universal set is 2 to 14, which is an integer. So let's list the numbers in the universal set. We have 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, and 14. That is our universal set. Now A is a set of prime number. So from this group we have to list all the prime numbers. As you can see, we have 2, 3, 5, 7, 11, 13. Those will be prime numbers. Now X is a multiple of 3, so we have to do 3 times 1, 3 times 2, 3 times 3, 3 times 4, and 3 times 5 will be outside, so we stop here. Now part 1, list the members of A union B prime. So first let's find out what is the list of A union B. It will be A and B, so let's see what elements we have in this both set. We have 2, 3, we don't have 4, we have 5, 6, 7, 9, 11, 12, 13. So from this we can find prime. So anything outside this group will be prime. So let's do that. It will be 4 is outside, 6, 7, 8 is outside, 9, 10 is outside, and 14 is outside. So this will be the set that you're looking for. Now for part 2, find the number of elements inside of A intersection B. So let's see how many elements we have A intersecting B. So let's see, we have 2 here, we don't have 2 here, 3, 3, so we have 3 in both, 5, nope, 7, nope, 11, nope, 13. So that is the only element which is in both sets. So that is only 1, for the number is 1. Now for part 3, given that C is a subset of A, so C is inside of A, now the number of elements in C is 3, B intersecting C is not 0, is equal to empty, so basically it means that they don't have anything in common. List the possible members of C. So C is inside of A. A has been given to you by the set of 2, 3, 5, 7, 11, and 13. Now, number of elements in C are 3. So we have 3 elements where will be in C. Now, B intersecting C is the empty set, which means that we cannot have anything which is both in C and in A, in C and in B. So which means we cannot have this 3. So 3 will be out of the option, and the rest will be the possible options for this C. So C can be 2, can be 5, can be 7. So only 3 elements that we need to choose to find C. The reason why it cannot be 3 is because, as you have seen here, A intersecting B is 3. So let's see, if you draw the set, so here we have set A and set B. So the only element is 3, and given that C does not intersect with B, so C will be right here. So you cannot touch 3, so 3 will not be in the set C. That's why we eliminate 3 and the rest will be outside. You can choose any 3 from the rest. You'll have this, or you can choose anything else. Now for part B, on the Venn diagram, shade the set P union R, so P union R intersecting Q prime, so we'll be outside of Q. So everything outside of Q and this one. Now for part C, a group of 80 people attended a recreation center on one day. Of these people, 48 used the gym, 31 used the swimming pool, and 17 used neither the gym nor the swimming pool. So let's call this one G, this one S. So by drawing a Venn diagram, find the number of people who use both the gym and swimming pool. Pretty easy. So we have two sets here. One is your gym and one is your swimming pool. So gym, swimming pool, and outside we have 17 uses neither. 17 will be outside. So we don't know how many uses both, so we put X. How many uses only gym will be 48 minus X. How many uses only the pool? It will be 31 minus X. So now we have to use this information to find the value of X. So as you know, we have 80 people in total. So if you add everything, you must have 80 people. So let's do that. 48 minus X plus 31 minus X plus 17 is supposed to give you 80 people. So these two cancel out. 48 plus 31 plus 17, that should be 96 minus X, that will be 80. X will be 16. So X is the number of people who use both the gym and pool. So your answer is 16 for that. And this will be your question number 6. Let's move on to question number 7. So OAB is a triangle. So OAB is a triangle. And OBDC is a rectangle. Now, OD and BC intersect at the point E. This is the point of intersection of these two lines. So, if you observe, this point of intersection is exactly in between this and this. Also, will be exactly in between halfway of this and this. So just right. Now, next one is the point F is such that CF is 3/4 of CD. So CD is C to D, and CF is 3, and this is 1. FD will be 1. Okay, so for now, this is what we have, and let's see what is a question. So part 1, express as simply as possible in terms of one or more A, B, C, D, find AB. So to find AB, you have to move from A, O to B. That will become minus A plus B. Now part 2, find OE. How would you find OE? So OE will be this one. If you observe, you have to move from O to this point and to this point. So let's write this down. Let's mark this point. Okay, so what is the length of O to this point? So O to halfway will be half B, and this is half of C, that will be half C. So that will be half B plus half of C. So that is your length of OE. So I hope you can see that. So OB is B, and right above E, it is exactly halfway of OB. So this length will be half of B. And same way, OC is C, and this length is half of OC, that will be half C. That's why we have this. Now part 3, EF. EF will be this length. How would you find EF? Let's see, what can we do? EF in this direction. So we can just move down by half C to come here. So E, that will be half C plus this length. What is this length to this length? Since we know that B is OB, so CD is also B. So this full length is B. And we know that B, this point here, it cuts it exactly in half. So this will be 2B and 2B. And since the ratio is 3 to 4, the ratio, as you can see, it is 3 to 4. So we have 4 pieces So 1, it should be about here. Okay, so it means that this is 2 is here and 2 is here. We have 1 over 4 here. So this will be 1 over 4b for one piece. So EF will be 1, so half C plus 1 over 4b. That will be your answer for part 3. So half C plus 1 over 4b. So by just by using ratios, you will find that. That's one way of doing this, but of course you can use many other ways of doing that question. Now for part B, we have G is a point on AB such that OG is equal to 3 over 5A plus 2 over 5B. That's OG. Now part 1, express AG in terms of A and B. It says G is a point on AB, so let's just put G somewhere around here. So to find AG, we have to do AO and then OG. So AO is given by minus A plus OG, which is 3 over 5A plus 2 over 5B. That will be 2 over 5B minus 2 over 5A. That will be your AG. Now for part 3, so if you factorize this, so let's try this. Because we have fractions, if you take out 2 over 5 outside, you will have B minus A. Now if you observe, B minus A is the same as this answer, which is AB. So which is 2 over 5 AB. So basically AG is equal to 2 over 5 times AB. Now find the ratio of AG to GB. So basically, if AG is 2 and if this whole length is 5, which means remaining has to be 3. So the ratio will be 2 to 3. Now for part 3, express FG in terms of A, B, and C. Give your answer as simply as possible. So let's go back to your drawing to find FG. So F is here. We can move F to C, C to O, and O to G. Right. So FG will be F moving to C, C moving to O, and O moving to G. So FC is given by, as you can see, CF is 3/4 of, so CD is what? CD is B. So CF is 3/4 of B. FC will be minus 3/4 of B. So minus 3/4 of B plus CO. So OC is C. CO will be minus C. So minus C. And plus OG has been given to you as this, which is 3 over 5A plus 2 over 5B. Now simplify. So here we have B and we have B. So we can make this 2 over 5B minus 3 over 4. That should give you minus 7 over 20. So your answer will be 3 over 5A minus 7 over 20B minus C. This is your answer for part 3 of question number 7. So let's move on to question number 8. A kite is attached to a 20 meters length of string, and the other end of the string is held at B, so that the string is a straight line. Now, B is 2 meters above the ground at C. As you can see, we have point C, and 2 meters above the ground is point B. Now, AC is given to you by 21.3. Now, D is a point above at ground level, directly below A, such that these angles are 90 and 90. So part 1, calculate the angle ABC. So where's angle ABC? So A, B, and C. So we have to find this angle. So if you observe, we have triangle ABC. We know all the 3 sides of this triangle. So to find this angle, we can just use the cosine rule. So let's do that. Let's call this angle angle B. Right. So cos of angle B is equal to this side. So we have 2 sides, so this side and this side. So 20 square plus 2 square minus 21.3 square divided by 2 times 20 times 2. So 20 square plus 2 square minus 21.3 square divided by 2 times 20 times 2. That gives you minus 0.621 for cos of b. Now, as you know, when the value of cos is negative, it will be in this quadrant or in this quadrant, right? But if you look at this, the angle here is definitely, angle B has to be between 0 and 180, right? Because it is more than 90, but less than 180 according to this diagram. So let's find the value. So cos inverse, that will be 128.4 degrees. So your angle B will be 128.4 degrees. Now for part 2, find AD. So where's AD? AD will be this length. How would you find this length? Let's see. So what can we do is we can draw a line here. We can move this line to up here if you want to for now. So this is 2, this is also 2. So let's call this point X. So we can first find the length of AX, and then we add 2 to find AD. Okay, so what is the length of AX? So we have this given to us as 90. So if this is 128.4, this will be what? This will be 128.4 minus 90. That will be 38. So this angle here is 38.4. This is 90 as well, that's why. Now, to find AX, we have to use SOHCAHTOA because it is a right angle triangle. That's why we can use SOHCAHTOA. Now observe, we know this length given to us as 20, which is the hypotenuse. We have to find this one, which is the opposite side. So we have to use sine. So sine of angle 38.4 is equal to the opposite side, which is AX, divided by hypotenuse, which is 20. So AX is equal to 20 sine of 38.4. That will be 12.4. So the length of AX is 12.4. Now, this is not your answer. You have to find AD. AD is just AX plus 2. So AX is 12.4, so AD will be AX plus 2. That will be 14.4. That will be your answer, correct to 3SF. So now let's move on to part B. E is another point on level ground such that D is 8.6. So this is 8.6. Now, if you know this angle, you can find this angle. It is just the third angle of a triangle. So 180 minus 33 minus 118. That will be 29. Okay, so part 1, calculate angle DCE. So DCE, 29 degrees. Now part 2, find CE. CE will be this length. So since we know all the angles and we know this side, we can use the sine rule. So you would say 8.6 over sine of 29 is equal to this length will be CE over sine of 33. So we make C the subject of formula. That will become 8.6 times sine of 33 divided by sine of 29. So 8.6 sine of 33 divided by sine of 29. That will be 9.66, correct to 3SF. So C will be 9.66. Now part 3, calculate the angle of elevation of B from E. So of B from E, we have to find this angle of elevation. So let's call this one alpha. How would you find the angle alpha? So now we have the length of EC. So if you take out this triangle, let's redraw this triangle. Here we have B, here we have C, and here we have E, and here we have this triangle. So it's the same triangle, we'll just draw this in this way so we can understand it better. Now this is 90 degrees, and we have just found that EC is equal to 9.66. We know this is 2. We have to find this angle. So since we have a right angle triangle, we can use SOHCAHTOA, right? This is your adjacent side and this is your opposite side. We can use tan. So tan of alpha is equal to opposite side over adjacent side. So alpha will be tan inverse of that value. That should give you what? 9.66. Sorry, 9.66. Tan inverse of that will be 11.7. So your angle of elevation is 11.7 degrees. And that will be your question number 8. So let's move on to question number 9. So we have A is your matrix, B is also your matrix. So part 1, find A minus 2B. So pretty easy. A is the same, so 1 minus 3, 2, 0. Minus 2B, we send 2 inside, you will have 6, 2, minus 4, minus 2. That will give you 1 minus 6 will be minus 5. 2 minus 2 will be 0. Minus 3 minus 4 will be 1. 0 minus 2 will be 2. So this will be your answer for part 1. Now for part 2, find A inverse. As you know by now, we have to find the determinant of A. So we just have to cross multiply. So 0 times 1 is 0, minus 3 times 2, that will become minus 6, so A will be 6. Now we have to find the adjoint matrix of A. That will be equal to, so first we have to switch the positions of these two. That becomes 0, 1, and the sign of these two, that become 3 and minus 2. So A inverse will be 1 over determinant times this matrix, 0, 3, minus 2, 1. Now part B, Zara is going to put carpet and underlay in 3 rooms A, B, C. Okay, of her house. The cost per square meters of carpet A in A is this much, in B is this much, and in C it will be this much. The cost of the respective carpet in each room. Now, the cost per square meters of underlay in A, B, and C, so 8, 6. This is P. As you can see, P is just the cost, so this in carpet, this is carpet, and this is 688 will be underlay. Now, the amount of carpet and underlay required is this. So question number 1, find PQ. So we just have to multiply P by Q. So let's do that. 18, 22, 25, 6, 8, 8 times 8, 15, 20. So this rows by column. So let's do that. 18 times 8 plus 22 times 15 plus 25 times 20. That will give you 974. And now for this one, 6 times 8 plus 8 times 15 plus 8 times 20. That will be 328. This, as always, as you can see, the first one is C for carpet and U for underlay. So part 2, explain what PX means. It means that it gives you the answer. This is the total cost required to use carpet. This is the total cost for the underlay. So it represents the cost for, you can write total cost because that makes sense, for carpet and for underlay respectively. Okay, that will be part 2. Now let's move on to part C. So triangle E is mapped onto triangle F by a reflection in this line. So first step is to draw this line. So if you observe, this line will be in this direction right here. That is your line, y equal to minus x. Now reflection in this line is pretty easy. We just have to count. So here we have 1, so it has to be 1 as well, will be right here. Here we have 1, 2, 3, so 1, 2, 3. And this one is 1, 2, 1, 2. That will be the reflection on this line. Okay, here you go. This is your triangle F, label as F. Now for part 2, The transformation that maps E onto G can be represented by this matrix. Draw and label G. So as you know, you do matrix times object gives you image. So we have to find the image. Matrix we know already, it is 2, 0, 0, 1. Object will be triangle E. So let's write down the coordinates of E. So first one is 1, 1. Then we have 2, 4. Then we have 3, 1. Okay, so we just have to multiply and find the value. So 2 times 2 times 1 is 2, plus 0 is 2. So same thing, so we get 4 here, we get 6 here, and this will be 1, 4, 1. So this will be the point of triangle G. So let's plot this down. 2, 1. 2, 1 will be right here. Then we have 4, 4 will be right here. And then we have 6, 1 will be right here. So let's join all the points and label this as your triangle G. So this will be joined to this one, and this will be joined to this one. This will be your triangle G. Now next one is triangle E is mapped onto triangle H by a stretch with the x-axis as the invariant line. Okay, that's fine. The area of the triangle H is 12 units square. Now, for this stretch, state the scalar factor. So, we know the area of H. H is the image, is 12. What is the area of E? So, let's count. E, as you can see, how do you find area of triangle? You will say half times base times height, right? The base here is 1, 2, and the height is 1, 2, 3. So, half times base is 2, times height is 3. That will be 3. So the area of triangle E is equal to 3 units square. Now the ratio, let's find the ratio of E to H. So E was 3, H was 12. So we can simplify, that will be 1, 2, 4. So 4 will be your stretch factor. Now for part B, the vertex 1, 1 of the triangle E is mapped onto the vertex MN of triangle H. Find M and N. So pretty easy. So now we know that the stretch factor is 4, we can find this. So basically, from this point, 1, 1, it was a stretch with your x-axis as invariant line, so we have to count. This is 1, right? Distance 1. Now since the stretch factor is 4, so 1 becomes 1, 2, 3, 4. This will be the point that you're looking for, which is 1, 4. So your value for M will be 1, and your value for N will be 4. And that is your question number 9. So let's move on to question number 10. So the diagram shows a major segment of a circle with center O and radius 15. This is the radius. This is also the radius. So this is also 15. Now, this is 60 degrees for the angle AOB. Now, if you observe, these two are the same, right? So this and this are the same, which means the remaining angles will also be, so that will be 180 minus 60, 180 minus 60 divided by 2, that will be 60 and 60. So since all the three angles are the same, this will be an equilateral triangle. This AB will also be 15. Now, question part 1, calculate the area of the major segment, so find the area of this whole shape. So how do we do this? So I would say what can we do is let's break this down into two parts. The first part is let's find the area of this sector, which is AOB for outside. Let's call this one area of A. And then we can find area of B, which is area of triangle. So let's do step by step. So area of sector will be A. It is the angle will be, if this is 60, this will be 300 divided by 360 times pi r square, which is 15 square. So let's check. 300 divided by 360 times 15 square pi. That will be 589.049. Now, to part 2, we have to find the area of this triangle. So 2b. So area of triangle will be half times sine of the angle in between, sine of 60, times the two sides will be 15 square. Half of sine 60 times 15 square, that will be 97.428. Now to find the area, so we just have to add 1. So 1 plus part 2, that will become 589.049 plus 97.428. That will be 686. So 686.477. So as you can see, this value is not exact. You have to give your answer correct to 3SF. That will become 686. That will be the area of this major segment. Now for part 2, find the perimeter of this major segment. Perimeter is the distance around, so we know this is 15. We have to find this one. This is distance of arc. So arc AB is equal to angle, which is 300, divided by 360 times 2 pi r is 15. That should give you times 2 pi r is 15. That will be 78.5398. So to find the perimeter, we have to add this to 15. So let's do that. So answer plus 15, that will be 93.5, correct to 3SF. So that will be your perimeter, 93.5. So just to recap, you have to find arc AB plus chord AB. So chord AB, we have known it is 15 from this part, and arc is 78.5. Okay, that's how you find the perimeter to be 93.5. Now let's move on to part B. Shape A is formed by joining this segment to a trapezium. This is the trapezium ABCD, as you can see. Now it says that the height is h, and this is parallel to this length. The area of trapezium is 248. So we have to find the height. So how do you find area of trapezium? You have to use the formula half sum of parallel sides, which is AB, we know is 15, plus DC, which is 25, and height we don't know, is equal to 248. So we have to make h the subject of formula. 248 times 2 divided by 15 plus 25, that will be 12.4. So the height will be 12.4 centimeters. Now for part C, shape 2 is geometrically similar to shape 1. So they are similar. The longest side of the trapezium in shape 2 is 5. Okay, so what is the ratio? So here we have 5 and here we have 25. So let's write this down. Shape 1 compared to shape 2. Shape 1 is 25 and shape 2 is 5. So we can simplify, that becomes 5 and 1. That is the ratio of their side. Now part 2, find the radius r of the segment in shape 2. So shape 2, we have to find this segment. If you go back, the AB here is 15, so you will write for shape 1. No, actually, that's not the good segment. We have to find the radius r, not segment, sorry. So segment, radius r is 15, so same thing as well. So 1 and shape 2, 2. So radius r of first one, so what is the radius of this one? It will be 15. So you write down 15. So we have to find the radius of shape 2. We know the ratio of this side is 5 to 1. So if this is 5, 1 will be divided by 5, that will be 3. So that will be 3 centimeters. Now part 2, find the total area of shape 2. So first step, what we do is we need to find the ratio of their areas. So we already know that the ratio of their side is 5 to 1, right? This is side in centimeters. Now area, it is centimeter square, so we have to square these two, now become 1, and 5 square, it is 25. So this is the ratio of their areas. Now what is the area of shape 2? We have known that this area here is our answer in part 1, which is 686, plus area of trapezium, which is 248. That will give you area of shape 1. 686 plus 248, that will be 934. Okay, going back, so 25 will be 934. So that is 25, so 1 will be divided by 25. That should give you 37.36. So now correct your 3SF, the area will be 37.4. Okay, so that will be your question number 10. Okay, so let's move on to question number 11. So we have A, B, C, D are points on the circle, as you can see. Now we have center O, we have angle CAB has been given to you as 28, and we have ACO as 20. That's good to know. And this is important here, CD is parallel to BA, so CD is in the same direction as DA. That is good to know. Now, EF is a tangent, and OBF is a straight line. So OBF is a straight line. Now what's next? So question part 1 is to find the angle COB. So COB, so we have to find this angle. So if you observe, as you know, angle at the center is always twice the angle at the circumference. So what is the value of this angle? We have to do 2 times 28. So 2 times 28, that will be 56. Angle COB will be 56. Now part 2, OFC. Where is the angle OFC? O is here, F will be right here, and C. So we have to find this angle. So we have been given that it is a tangent to the circle, this line, which means that CO has to be 90 degrees. So here we have a triangle OCF. This is 56, this is 90. This will be the third angle of the triangle. So 180 minus 90 minus 56, that will be 34. So this is 34 degrees. Okay, now let's see what else do we need to find. So this is 34 degrees. Now part 3, find the angle OCB. So O is here, C is here, B is here, so we have to find this angle. So if you observe, OC is the radius, but OB is also the radius. So these two are the same, so these two angles have to be the same. So 180 minus 56 divided by 2, that will be 62 and 62. So the angle OCB will be 62 degrees. Now let's find the angle DEC. So D is right here. So DCE, we have to find this angle. Okay, so how do you find this angle? So if you observe, this is 28. Since these two lines are parallel to each other, if you look in this direction, you will see the angle well. This one is this line and this line. So the interior angle will be the same. This is also 28. Okay, so now we have 28, 20, and we have to find this one. So this is a tangent to the circle. CO is 90, so this also will be 90. So what is this remaining value? It will be 90 minus 28 minus 20. That will be 42. So this angle here will be 42 degrees. So that will be 42 degrees for this angle. Now the last question is to find the angle ADC. So let's use a different color. So ADC, where's ADC? ADC. So we have to find this big angle. So pretty easy as well. We have been given that if you observe, we have triangle ACB. So let's draw this here. Straight line. Here we have B. Right, this is ACB. Now we know this is 28. Now what is this angle C? It is 20 plus 62. So 20 plus 62, that will be 82. So if you want to find this angle right here, it will be the third angle of the triangle. So 180 minus 28 minus 82. That will give you 72. degrees. So now we have the angle of 70, which is this one, 70. So we have to find this angle, ADC. So if you see properly, we have ADCB. It is a quad inside of this circle. So this is B, this is C, A, and D. So these two angles have to be complementary angles, which means when they add up, it adds up to 180. So this is 70. So this has to be 180 minus 70. That has to be 110. So angle ADC will be 110 for the last value. And that is question part 1. So which means these two are parallel and these are parallel to each other. Now it says QT. So QT is this line. Bisect the angle PQR. So PQR. Bisect means it cuts the angle exactly in half. So if this is 32, this also will be 32. Now, part 1. Giving a reason for your answer, find QTR. So where's QTR? QTR will be this angle. So how would you find this angle? So if you observe, this line is parallel with this line and the interior angle has to be the same, so 32 as well. So let's write this down. QTR will be 32 because PQ and TR are parallel, and you would say angle QTR and angle PQT are alternate angles. That is for your point. Now for part B, SPQ. So SPQ will be this angle. So you should know by now that we have a, if you have a parallelogram, so let's say this is in the same direction and these two in the same direction. So this angle, let's call it A, and this angle we can call it B. So I will ask you what are the values of this angle. So in this case, we say that the opposite angle has to add up to 180. So these two, if you add up, it has to be 180, and the adjacent angle has to be the same. So basically, this angle here equal to this angle here. So this angle here has to equal to this angle. So you would say this is 64 because you would say they are adjacent angles are the same. Are equal. Now for part 2, on the diagram, construct the locus of points inside of the parallelogram. For first condition, it is 4 centimeters from PS. So PS is a line. 4 centimeters from PS has to be a line which is parallel with this, but 4 centimeters away. So how would you draw this? So first, as always, we have to measure your scale of 4 centimeters. Okay, that is your scale. Now from point P, you have to cut this line, and then from point S you have to cut this line as well. So if you observe now, you have a point of intersection and another point of intersection. So by joining them together, you will have a line which is parallel to PS and 4 centimeters from PS. That will be your locus for part 1. Now for part 2, it has to be 5 centimeters from C. So first step, we have to measure 5 centimeters, at least from, oh actually let's see, 5 from the scale. So make sure your pencil is sharp so your drawing can be accurate. So from the point R, it has to be 5, but it needs to be inside of the quad, it cannot go out. Okay, that will be your answer for part 2. Now question part 3, the point V is inside, good, it is less than 4, so less than 4 will be on this side of this line. Now less than 5 will be on the inside of the circle. Now last one will be nearer to QR than to PQ. So we have to draw PQR and PQ. So where's QR? QR is QR and PQ, so we have the bisector already. It means that it has to be nearer to QR, will be on this side than this side. So the resulting area will be this one. That will be the region that we need to shade to find the possible position of V. And this is your question 11. Now let's move on to question number 12. So the volume of a sphere is 4 over 3 pi r cubed. That's the formula of the volume of a sphere is given to you. Now, a solid consists of a sphere on top and a square-based cuboid. It's x, it's a square-based cuboid. Now, the diameter of the sphere is x. So when you have diameter, you know that the radius is just half of the diameter. So diameter is x, so radius is equal to half of diameter, which is x divided by 2 for the radius. Now, the sum of the height of the cuboid, so height of cuboid, and one of the sides is 8. So height, let height be h, plus one of the side is x, that will be 8, which means the height is 8 minus x. Okay, so this height will be 8 minus x. Now question part 1, by considering the height of the cuboid, this is 8 minus x, explain why it is not possible for this sphere to have a radius of 5. Now let's say, we know radius is equal to x over 2. So now if radius was 5, let's say radius was 5, what is the value of x? So you would say x will equal to 10, right? So how do you find height? 8 minus 10 will be minus 2. So that's why it will not be possible. So you would say radius cannot be 5 because your length, so height, would be equal to minus 2, and we cannot have a negative length for height. That's why it will not be possible for the radius to equal to 5. Now for part B, by taking value of pi as 3, show that the approximate volume y of the solid is given by this. So if you observe, the volume of solid is volume of sphere plus volume of cuboid. So it's y is basically a plus b. Now a is volume of sphere, which is given to you by the formula. It is 4 over 3, pi is 3, times r square. As you have seen, radius is x over 2 square. So x over 2 is actually r cube, so power 3 actually. And plus b is the volume of the cuboid, pretty easy. X times 8 minus x. Now let's simplify to see what we have. These two will go away. And here we have 4 times x cubed divided by 8 plus x squared, 8 minus x. That will be 2. And if you simplify, you will have x cubed over 2 plus 8x squared minus x cubed. So that should give you, so half minus this, that will become 8x squared minus half x cubed. This is shown as required for your value of y. Now for part C, the table below shows some values of x and the corresponding values of y, as you can see right here. Now, we have to find this corresponding value for y. So if x equal to 3, 8 times 3 squared is 9, minus 9 over, sorry, it's 27 over 2. That will be 58.5. Now that is good. Now part 2, complete the opposite grid. Plot the graph for this one between this and this. So let's do that. How would you draw this graph? So let me first write down the values, because it will be much easier for me to actually have the values on the other side. So here we have x 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and y will be 7.5, 28, 58.5, 96, 137.5, 180, and 220.5. So on the other side, I can just look at the values directly. So the first value is x is 1, 7.5, so x is here. And y will be 7.5. So let's check. 5 square is equal to 20, so 1 square will be 4. That will be less than 2 square, will be about right here. That's the first point. Then 2 will be 28. 28 will be, so 28 will be above 20 by 2, so 2 squares. Because 1 square is equal to 4, 8 will be right here. So, sorry, 2 will be right here. Now 3 will be 58.5. So where's 58? It will be above 40. So we say 58.5 minus 40, because it will be above 40, divided by 4. That will be number of squares above 40. It will be 4.625. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 625 will be about here. Now for this one will be 96. 96 will be above 80. So we take 96 minus 80, divided by 4. That will be 4 square above 80. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now we have 5 for 137.5 will be above 120. Minus 120 divided by 4. That will be 4.375. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 0.375 will be about here. Now for 6, that will be 180. 180 will be exactly on 180, so that's okay. Then we have 7 will be 220.5. So 220.5 minus 220 divided by 4, that will be 0.125 square. So it will be about right here. Okay. Now let's join the points with a smooth curve. So try your best to have a smooth curve joining all the points. So here we go, and that's it. That will be your curve of y. Now let's move on to the next question. So it says, use your graph to find the height of the cuboid when the volume is 120. So let's see, when the volume is 120, so volume is y is 120. Let's find the corresponding value for x. So 120 will be, you have to draw a line. Will be right here. That will be, value of x will be 4.7. Okay. So at volume of 120, the value of x is 4.7. But here we have to find the height. Height is 8 minus x. So the height is what? Let's see. 8 minus 4.7, that will be 3.3. So the height will be 3.3 centimeters at the volume of 120. Now the last question is, a cylinder has radius of 3 and length of x. By drawing a suitable graph on the grid, estimate the value for x of x when the solid and the cylinder has the same volume. So let's do that. So now how do you find the volume of a cylinder? So as you know, cylinder have a formula of pi r square h. Now it says take pi as 3, so we take 3. Radius as 3, so 3 square. And h, we don't know, so it says height, length of h. So length will be, length of k, that will be length of x. That will be, so 3 times 9, that will be 27x. This will be your volume of the cylinder. So we have to draw this this line on the curve and see where they meet. So let's take one value. At x equal to 0, y is equal to 0. At x equal to, let's say, 5, the value of y will be what? Let's check. 27 times 5, that will be 135. So here we have 2 points. Let's plot the line. So 0, 0, pretty easy. That will be right here. Then we have 5, 135. So 1, 5. And 135 will be above 120. So we will do minus 120 divided by 4. That will be 3.75 squares. So 1, 2, 3.75 will be about just below the point. So they will meet at this point. So I can't find my ruler. Let me just use a pen to see how well can I draw. Yeah, so that will be, let's see. That's the point where they meet. Okay, as you can see, the curve and the line meets at this point, which will be this value. So it says by drawing, find the value of x. X will be equal to 5, where they meet. And that is your question number 12.